Do you need to mount a scope? Let me show you the Wheeler Ultra Scope Mounting Kit. Mounting and leveling a scope can be a tricky task. Now Wheeler sent me the Ultra Scope Mounting Kit, and let's open this up and see what we got in here. Now we have a fat wrench, we have a couple of levels, we have a pen, you know, the little pen to clean the optics with, and we also have some Loctite, well, or the Wheeler brand of Loctite, and then we have some screw bits. And then off the side here, we also have the instructions, calibration card for the fat wrench, and a reflective target. Now I have my rifle mounted up in my Tipton Ultra Vise, and I'm going to level it and then set my reference level. Now I'm going to put my level onto my upper receiver and not my free float rail, because this is actually where my scope is going to be mounted. It's not going to be mounted up here, and this could be cocked a little bit. So we're going to put this on, and I pre-leveled this rifle, and it's off just a hair here, but it's right on. Now we're going to set my reference level, and this goes on to the barrel. And what this is going to do is it's going to set my level, because I can't keep this on all the time. So I'm going to have to take that off. But now once I get my reference level set, now I know that my rifle is leveled. And just a little bit more here. And we're just opening these up so we can get around this 308 barrel. Here we go. And then I'm going to clamp this up. Just like this. Now I'm going to just kind of get this as close as I can get it, and then I can fine tune it with this screw right here. So I'm going to clamp this up a little tighter. Make sure I get a really nice tight clamp onto that barrel. And this thing's rubber coated, so it's not going to mark my barrel. Twist that. There we go. Now I have my rifle leveled left and right. So since I have my reference level set, I can take this one off the receiver. Now I can take my scope and put it onto my upper receiver here. Now this is my CAC scope, or cheap-ass Chinese scope, that someone gave me to try to sell back when I was in FFL, and I really wasn't interested in it, but why not take a cheap scope? Now that I have my scope where I kind of want it, I'm going to take this small level and I'm going to put it right here on the top turret. And then I'm going to twist my scope a little bit. And I'm going to level that top turret. So now that we have this leveled, I'm going to torque these screws. And I'm going to do them evenly. There should be an even gap on all sides. And to do this, I'm going to use the fat wrench, and I have it set for 30 pounds. Screw that one down. And all I'm doing is just taking the slack up on these screws here. There we go. And now I'm going to torque them. Right there. Right there. Right there. And then my final screw. Right there. So I'm going to take one last look at my levels here, and we have that top turret is still level, and I'm looking down here at my reference level. So everything is still level, so my crosshairs should be perfectly level with the barrel. Normally I'd use the Loctite, but since this is a cheap scope and it's not going to stay on this rifle, I'm just doing this for a demonstration, so I'm not going to worry about doing the Loctite. So my final step here is to pull my levels off, and I will unscrew this, take my reference level off, and then the other thing I'm going to have to do is, because this rifle has a brake and I want to use the laser that came with this, so with the brake here is it'll stay, but with this crown here, I don't know if this is perfectly level or not. So I want to make sure I'm going right against the muzzle and not the brake to make sure I'm getting a perfectly flat surface. Now let's take a look at this fat wrench really quick. I already had this set for 30 inch-pounds. Now to set this is you're actually going to lift up on the top, and you'll see here there's a plus and a minus, and you just move it and you can see the indicator right here. Now, after you're done using the fat wrench, you want to make sure you take this all the way down to the lowest setting to store it. You do not want to leave the fat wrench with any type of torque on it, because it could throw the calibration of the fat wrench off. So now we got the rifle out on the range after being on the bench. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how far off the reticle is. And I'm going to use this laser that comes with the Wheeler kit. And if you push the button, it'll activate a green laser. And there's a magnet here. And if you notice, I took the muzzle brake off of this rifle, so that way I can mount this right on. It'll stick right on. And I have a Caldwell range camera downrange, so I can see right off my iPad where this thing is hitting. And it looks like, let's take this cap off. Looks like I'm going a little too far to the left. And I'm not going to do my up and down because I'm only aiming at 25 yards right now, just so I can get this kind of settled in. It looks like I'm a couple of inches high, but that would be kind of normal because, you know, from where this scope into the bore is about 2 inches. So I'm going to take this target down, and then I'm going to go over to, looks like the 50-yard range, and then resight this in again. Now that I got this out at the 50, it looks like it's only about an inch high. So I'm going to reset up on the 100-yard, and let's see where it is, and then we'll actually get a few shots to see where we're landing on paper. So I reset up at the 100 yards, and it looks like I'm still just a little bit low. It's hard to see on the range camera here. I'm going to take a quick screenshot of that. So you can see that the laser is a little low as well, but my sights are a little bit low. But this is enough for me to start actually getting some shots on the paper, because at 100 yards, I know that my shots are actually going to be on the paper. So let me go down, set up for some paper, and let's get some rounds through this rifle. Now, as usual, safety first. I do have eye protection on, which I'm using the Wiley X Rogue. And I've got my ear protection on. And today I'm running the Caldwell power cords. Let's see if this CAC scope can keep up with me here. It's not the greatest scope in the world, which is kind of why I lovingly call it the CAC. But it was also free, and with no other restrictions to do anything with it. So we've got that kind of narrowed in. I'm going to turn on recording here for the range camera. Let's get our first shot in. And it looks like I'm really high there. All right. Well, at least I'm center. So let's mess with this top turret a little bit and bring this down a little. So it's official, this scope is complete crap. On my last adjustment there, I actually saw the reticle do this on me. And I'm looking here, and it's not, the scope didn't turn in the rings, but that reticle just kind of turned. So not much more I can do with the rifle here because, well, the scope is completely screwed. But anyways, you get the idea of the of sighting this in using that Wheeler scope kit. Unfortunately, this CAC scope is a little more A than anything else. So we'll see if we can get this out in another video with a better scope and see if we can get this aimed in. Thanks for joining. Hope you're staying safe out there. I look forward to seeing you again soon.